My name is Wendy Patrick, and we're talking about the bonding power of social distancing, something I've been writing a lot about in my Psychology Today column. It's about how staying apart brings us closer together. So, what is it about being told we can't do something that makes us want to do it all the more, even if it is spending time together? Well, research has some answers. When it comes to in-person contact, most of us believe that less is not more. For all the complaining we do about traffics, crowds, lines in the stores, most of us would rather live in community than the alternative. Now, in the wake of pandemic social restrictions, empty streets and deserted shopping malls resemble some kind of end-of-the-world disaster film, not our vision of an ideal day off of work. The reality is, despite how attractive the option might have sounded while sitting in rush hour or standing in line at the store, when actually confined at home, some people miss the hustle and bustle of daily life. And because we are innately social creatures, we miss each other as well. Not only that, we miss seeing each other in person. Now, we're getting very good at video conferencing. When we're told we can't meet in person, we have to resort to Skype or Zoom or whatever we want to use. But self-isolating, even professionally, makes us crave company even with our coworkers. Grounded travelers and employees confined to the privacy of home miss the human connection of not only living in community, but also working in community. Grounded travelers and public employees who are confined to the privacy of their own homes miss the human connection of living in community. From the serious to the superficial, we miss conversation with everyone from coworkers in the hallway to strangers on the subway. Even the lighthearted exchanges with the barista at our local coffee shop, who asks as soon as we come in if we want our usual, are remembered with an air of nostalgia. Because we're used to living in community and perceive safety in numbers, when our communal existence is disrupted, we become vulnerable to having negative emotions, depression, anxiety, discomfort, a feeling of isolation. There's an abundance of research corroborating the value of social connection, including the negative consequences when we interrupt our social lives. It turns out that we suffer emotionally when our social bonds are threatened or severed. Think about it. The warmth of interpersonal contact cannot be replicated. There's nothing quite like meeting in person. Think about networking. Now, we recognize the potential self-serving value of networking in terms of meeting people that have access to resources, connections, including money. But we don't need a motive like that to want to see each other in person. We are wired to desire personal, positive connection. Think about the way we interact with our friends. We meet them for coffee or lunch to keep up to date. We don't just resort to Facebook Messenger. We only do that if they don't live close by. Phone and video calls are reserved for scenarios where it's impossible to meet in person. It's a common substitute, not a popular substitute. Even in the professional realm, we Zoom, we Skype, we use whatever video conferencing platform is easiest for us, but they're not necessarily the optimum, ideal ways in which to hold meetings. A computer screen cannot recreate the warmth of laughter, eye contact, and body language. These are things that accompany interaction even in a purely professional context. Being ordered to self-isolate makes us crave company even more, because in-person chemistry has become a scarce commodity. Thankfully, sheltering in place doesn't mean dropping off the grid. We can still be social while social distancing. Now, people who already spend a significant amount of time on social media are well equipped to stay in touch with their social network, which has no doubt expanded to include peers and coworkers. These are people they're used to seeing in person. The challenge is staying social while also staying home. From video chat lunch dates to virtual happy hours, we're finding ways to socialize from afar. And more than simply demonstrating we can learn to use these platforms, just something as simple as taking the time to schedule video time together, as opposed to engaging in pure electronic communication, highlights the importance of that relationship. Let's face it, we are all learning we are better together. In addition to socializing with friends, abiding by order. In addition to socializing with friends, abiding by orders to shelter in place gives families more time to spend together. This precious, unexpected time can be creatively used in many different ways, from education to exercise to entertainment. As households hunker down, we renew our appreciation for the value of relationships. And although for some people a forced workplace hiatus comes with a price tag, the opportunity to spend more time with loved ones is priceless.